welcome to Sanditon Fancast. We're your hosts.
I'm Michelle. I live in the States. You can find me at Musings on Instagram and Twitter.
And I'm Rita. I live in England. I'm at Annoying Rita on Instagram and Twitter.
Hello again. This is our bonus podcast where we read out your emails and discuss what you guys thought of the episode. So let's delve into the inbox of Postcards from Sanditon.
Sometimes I think it sounds more like wind, you know? But anyway. Okay. Hi ladies, love your podcast and email episode as a bonus feature. I learn from you both and all of those who contribute. Can't say how many times I laugh. I really liked this episode, although everyone was angry, especially at the beginning. Sadness at the end of the episode, and some character development in between. Number 1, Harry and Arthur. I had so much happiness for them until it's ripped apart with Georgiana's announcement of marriage to Harry. Arthur broke my heart with his reaction. Great acting. Broken heart emoji. Number 2, I had respect this week for Mother Montrose. Approaching Georgiana at the tea and giving her advice. Her conversation with Harry and expressing a tolerance for her son, but also her fear of what had happened to him. 3, Ralph. Why the stubble? I didn't notice the stubble.
He's not doing well.
He's very emotional, not a word, when speaking to Charlotte. He must have a clue because he was eager to go to Hayrick Park. I would like this relationship over ASAP. Go home, Ralph. Oh, be nice to Ralph. He's suffering.
You didn't ask for any of this.
Love the relationship of Lady Susan and Samuel. 5. Such a fun uncle with Leo.
Yes. 6.
Do you think Price is scamming Lady D? Thought very pushy. Maybe he doesn't have money symbol, money symbol. Dollar symbol, dollar symbol. That's inappropriate for a British TV show, can I just say? Edward is puke emoji, sick emoji, poo emoji. Creepy. I think he was more manipulative this week.
Oh, yes.
8, Colborne. Please shave. Agreed. I do like him talking with Lydia and exchanges. I could see a relationship if Charlotte wasn't around. His looks / gazes at Charlotte, though. Heart emoji. Charlotte, please send Ralph home. I did find her reaction about Augusta running off with Edward very good, but she was physically sick. 10. Leo is so goddamn cute, throwing shade at Edward. 11. Poor Miss Hankins. Her brother sucks. I hope for a happy ending. 12. Mary with the voice, but I'm afraid someone is going to get sick. Thanks again, Robin from Boston.
Yeah, that's one thing we didn't talk about, that there's a sickness in Old Town. So are they going to try and bring in one of our characters getting terribly sick into this whole mix? Mary, perhaps?
Probably. I don't think we have time for this kind of nonsense.
I know, right? Yeah, it's a little late for that. Ugh. Oh, boy. Okay. Good evening, dear ladies. This series is stressing me out. Every scene with Edward and Augusta is giving me the heebie-jeebies. Good grief. I'll start with the positive. I screamed when I saw the mounds of macaroons at the beach party and was so glad Charlotte finally mentioned the sugar ban. However, it came to nothing as Georgiana totally turned on her and then did not bring it up later when they were alone. Frustrating. 3 cheers for the romances of Ms. Hankins and Lady Denham. No matter the outcome, it's nice that they are showing that romance is possible at any age.
Possibly getting conned.
Yeah.
At any age.
Yeah. I'm thoroughly enjoying the dynamic between the Colborne brothers. Can we have a spin-off where Xander finds off-the-beat law cases for his brother to take on? Obviously, he is not busy, or he would be rushing back to London. Also, his lawyering skills seem to involve nothing more than him hanging out in bars and gambling to get information. Lady de Clement could provide an assist in all that. Definitely fun. The so
That would
sweet...
be such a good show. Can you imagine?
Yes. The so sweet way they handled Arthur's coming out was delightful. However, as sincere as the Duke seemed to be, as he was talking of this cottage in Wales, all I was thinking was, how many friends has he brought there so that he knows you wouldn't see another soul for weeks on end? Also, I'm assuming they would take a maid with them, right? Because can either of these two cook anything? I know, suspension of disbelief. Well, that all went to shit anyway, in the most awful way. I did not see that engagement coming, as I was still rolling my eyes over Georgiana's annoyance at all these fake relatives coming out of the woodworks after she won the lottery, essentially. How is it that the only way to stop this would be for her to get married? Won't those leeches still try to worm their way in?
Not if you're married to a duke.
Nope. As for Lady Lydia and her equine seduction, I can't hate her, as I enjoy seeing all her reactions to her mother's pronouncements, whether she is propping her up, beast taming indeed, or putting her down by alluding to her age. Finally...
Can I just say, Colborne, when he laughs at her mum saying, don't wait until she's Lydia's age.
Yes.
Fuck you, Colborne. That was not nice.
Yeah.
No.
Finally, I just can't believe what is going on. Was there nothing more original they could think of? I know Charlotte is in a funk, but has she completely forgotten season 1? Laugh out loud. Her advice to Augusta to take a chance on love and run off with Sir Edward, was just so stupid. A classic if only she had said his name trope. Ugh, I'm rather disappointed. The only way I can see this turning around would be for Ralph to save Augusta somehow and have them fall in love and leave Charlotte to marry Colburn. Honestly...
Plot twist.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how Georgiana and Arthur are going to have their happy ending, but maybe they're just going for a modern sad ending to this series. I do not approve. Can't wait to hear your thoughts as usual. Cannot thank you enough for the work you do to recap and discuss this show. I am always entertained. All the best. Denise from... Oh, Lord.
Saint-Jean Richelieu.
Yes, Quebec.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
we
Denise.
Tried. Okay.
Of course, now I'm intrigued. I think I want to have Google tell me how to pronounce it.
Google that, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Pronounce this shit!
Okay. Hi, Michelle and Rita. Another week means another jam-packed episode. This episode, in a lot of ways, made me sad and put me in my feels. Best line for me was from Mary. A woman can only be silenced for so long before she roars. So happy to see Mary call out to Tom for being a jerk. Negative thoughts about the episode. I still don't believe Edward. If anything, this episode confirmed to me again that he's a manipulative piece of crap. He did a motherfucking Wickham. His conversation with Augusta made the party, before the party, was shades of his manipulation of Esther in season 1. This episode made me sad because our friends in Sanditon are really at a breaking point. Georgiana's trying to ignore her trauma and find a way to keep her status in society. Charlotte is lying to herself, as is evidenced by her eyes not being able to keep them off Xander at the tea, and talk about the most awkward tea ever, side-eye emoji. Poor Xander is trying to keep it together, but he can't help himself but always have eyes for Charlotte. When our heroines started getting into it with our heroines started getting into each other at the end of the episode regarding their truths, that hit me in the gut. I sometimes forget these are characters because they feel so real and you just want to tell them to wake up, ladies. Arthur and Harry this episode were magnificent in a happy and sorrowful way. A beautiful scene between the two of them at the beach admitting their love for grouse. But the scene between Lady M and Harry was powerful and sad. Such a well done scene by Emma and Edward, the actors. I thought back to reality how high the stakes are with the love that Arthur and Harry share.
Mm-hmm.
Love the brothers, Colborne especially when talking about suppressing feelings.
That was hilarious.
But Xander's right. Samuel's totally in love with Lady Susan,
Mm-hmm.
and Uncle Samuel and Leo make quite the theatrical pair. I love them. Something Rita said last week on the podcast hit me again this week about Otis saying that she would just be Georgiana if she lost her money. Then this week Samuel said people will leave her alone if she gives up her fortune or marries. Will she give up her fortune? Maybe make a foundation with the money. I'm intrigued to see where this goes. Well, only 2 more episodes left. I can't believe it. Crying emoji. All the best. Eve from Hawaii.
Thank you, Eve.
Thank you, Eve. Georgiana setting up a foundation would be fabulous.
That would be marvelous. Greeting, ladies. I have to say I'm enjoying so much having 2 episodes from you each week. I also wanted to thank you for the whole cheating conversation on the last one. I do agree with Rita, life is not black or white. Anyway, on to episode 4. Starting off with my MVP for this episode, Dear Sweet Mary. It's as if a child has been caught between stupid adults and no one will listen. I like that she finds an ally in Colborne, both generally timid and reserved in nature, but ready to speak up if the situation demands it. They seem to grow in a similar way this season. The line, a woman can be silenced for so long before she roars. I love that. And when Tom has the audacity to say he doesn't like the woman she's become. How unfortunate. I was growing rather fond of her. You go, girl. Someone give that woman a mic so she can drop it.
Yes.
I have never cheered another character so much. A small bone to pick, but asking Charlotte to accompany her at Hayrick Park and then inviting Ralph too? Mary, read the room. If I were Charlotte, I would have faked a stomachache right then and there, no matter how obvious it would seem. But again, because I have no morals and am a sucker for expressive eyes, if I were her, I would have accepted that proposal 5 days ago and sent Ralph a sorry, not sorry letter from my big new house. Anyway,
that would have been
moving on.
Perfect.
Yes.
She could have done it. Really not that big a deal.
Yep. Arthur and the Duke. What a roller coaster of emotions that was. The way Harry looked at him before his mother interrupted, insert heart eyes emoji. Arthur's coming out and Harry admitting he has feelings for him. For a moment there, I thought those cliffs were going to gift us with another kiss, but alas, this is a series, and we can't have a single happy ending before the last episode. So Harry proposes to Georgiana, and we have to endure the pain of watching Arthur falling from the clouds. I won't lie, I cried when he said, "Why did it have to be him?" Yeah. Tom, why don't you leave the speculating to me, and I will leave the running of the house to you? Hate him! Next. I mean, for me, and this is Michelle, not the person writing. I honestly wanted to say, well, we've seen how successful you've been at speculating.
That's a good point.
Dude. But anyway, okay, back to the letter.
You want to talk to Sydney about how well that's gone for him?
Oh, that's right. He's dead. So he can't talk to you. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Tom, glass houses, rocks. Back to the letter. Lady Montrose, channeling yet another Pride and Prejudice character. The scene where she proudly states that no one has caught Colborne's eye since his wife died reminded me of Lady Catherine de Bourgh thinking her nephew's increased attachment to Rosings that summer was because of her daughter. Yeah. Although I must say, that is the character that perplexes me the most this season. While mostly unlikable, she occasionally goes and does things, like getting up and walking with Georgiana when everyone else is staring and gossiping, and genuinely being afraid of her son's life because of his leanings. And I don't know what to make of it. Such a complex writing for a secondary role. As for Lydia, I like you, but please don't touch Hannibal. Ralph.
Hannibal seemed to like it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Hannibal's
a cheater.
Yeah, he was cool. Ralph. He's back. catching on things this time. Of course, with Xander Charlotte radar back on, it's not that hard. Jealousy doesn't suit him. Going to Colborne and saying how he and Charlotte don't fit in that company? First of all, someone get Eliza Campion's spirit out of Ralph. And second, you are already engaged to her. What are you trying to prove? Samuel and Lady Susan, stating there are no feelings, proceeds to make everything he can so she doesn't leave. It's sailing, people! The good ship's Susan, or what? Samsu?
SS.
Yeah, the SS Samsu. Let's see, Georgiana. Oh, the denial. She really said, let's drink and lose focus of what matters because it hurts too much to think about. Oof. Her and Charlotte and their whole pot and kettle situation. I liked their confrontations this episode. First, Charlotte calls her out for the numbing the pain approach she's adopted. Then she confides in her what happened with Colborne, something she wouldn't have done the previous season because of their friendship, has been one weighed so far. And finally, Georgiana basically telling her, fix your life before you fix mine. Charlotte, the projecting is strong with this one, especially when she's talking to Augusta. Colborne, good for him for putting his foot down for Edward. He did entertain me this episode. I must look to the future. Stares at Charlotte for the majority of that statement. Even when people are talking to him, he just looks at her. Rude, but who can blame him? But Xander, my boy, just as Charlotte's been cornered by Ralph, ready to spill her guts and probably break this ridiculous engagement, that you interrupt? Sadly, I have...
To be fair, he had a genuine emergency.
Yeah, that's true.
Of all the interruptions, this is the most forgivable
yes. one. Sadly, I have nothing else to say about Hayborn. We're just backpedaling at this point, and I don't appreciate it. Finally, the most awkward of couples. We spent so much time on this episode watching Edward manipulate Augusta, wasting one of Jane Austen's most romantic lines, "You pierce my soul," when we could have spent it watching literally anything else. And yes, I said the M word because, I said the M word, and if you don't see it as much, you are wrong, and I'm greatly concerned about you.
Same.
Yes. At first, I did
6%. Where are you? Show yourself. Talk to me.
Yes. At first, I did
blame therapy. This is where, in a traditional podcast, we would cut to a BetterHelp advert.
Yeah, there we go. Hint, hint. At first, I did blame Charlotte for not pressing more on who the man is, as I'm sure many others did as well. But then I thought, Augusta knew what she was doing when keeping it from her.
Yeah.
She did this from the beginning, hiding their relationship whilst claiming she believed him to be a changed man. If that was the case, why keep it a secret? And just to be clear, I'm not saying she deserves him. She's merely that she's a teenager, and teenagers know when to hide parts of the truth that will reflect badly on them. But the disgust on Charlotte's face at the end when she realized who she meant was a picture. Absolutely.
And remember, she was there when the incest was loudly yelled at the party at the end of season 1.
And in conclusion, lessons on manipulation as demonstrated by Edward Denham. 1. Recruit a child, preferably one that's emotionally attached to your victim, to do your dirty work. 2. Put it in her mind that she's been locked up when her uncle merely asked that she is accompanied by a chaperone. You know, like they were supposed to back then. 3. Backhandedly defend the uncle by saying you don't blame him for keeping you two apart, whilst simultaneously claiming that your intentions are honorable. 4. Put the idea that, quote, the only way you could be together is if you were to somehow escape in her mind, and then say it could never happen because you respect her too much. 5, make her feel special by stating she's the only person who cares about you. That's a classic one. 6,
yeah.
When she is at her most vulnerable, emphasize how torturous it is to be close to her and not being able to be with her. Therefore, you have to leave. Don't forget to lovingly caress her face while doing so. 7. Blindside her with a fully planned escape and make it seem as if there's no time left. Otherwise, you'll be separated. Bonus points if you use the word forever. I gotta tell you, bravo. Bravo. That's an awesome list. And she says, I hated every second of his screen time. Yes. Well, I believe that's enough for me. Can't wait to hear you two destroy him at your podcast. Best wishes. That Freudian slip. Best wishes, KK Cypress. Thank you, KK.
That was amazing.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Rita and Michelle, it's been a blast doing episodes in real time with you. I'm loving your observations and all the differing opinions and thoughts from everyone that is writing in. It's great fun to go back to the episode after hearing others' perspectives and see it with another set of eyes. There's so much emotion to process this week. I'm still digesting it. I love this episode. Sure, there were a few things that made my inner snark demon rear its head, but overall this episode was a pure masterpiece of storytelling, visual arts, and most of all, incredible acting. A+ across the board for every actor this week, even if their character annoyed me in some ways. Let's start with the best, Arthur and Harry. They're the most adorable pair and I love them more in every episode. Their emotional arc from nervousness and fear to understanding and jubilation, then to total devastation and heartbreak. I bought everything they were selling this week, and I know things seem bleak right now, but I'm not giving up on anything yet. Here's what I love so much about their relationship. There's a sense of maturity and rawness in them we don't get in the other couples. They actually communicate, all in capital letters. Instead of having 3 more episodes of them dancing around each other, yes, Hayborn, I'm talking to you, Harry comes out and just asks Arthur if he's avoiding him. Arthur responds openly, and then they have a beautiful, honest, heartfelt conversation. They hide nothing from each other or from themselves in this moment. It's so refreshing. They're the couple that has to hide their feelings from the world the most, and yet they're remarkably open with each other. If Charlotte and Colborne could communicate like that, they'd be married and on to their second baby by now. God, they've only known each other like 3 months. I'm telling you, that's impossible. Okay. When Arthur tells Harry what his true feelings are, Harry is actually bouncing. When Arthur was so sweet, saying he likes his life and doesn't want to live in fear and shame, and asking Harry how they would make this work if he were to admit he shared Harry's tastes. It was so wonderful. Question for you ladies. Do you think they edited out a kiss between Arthur and Harry in that scene near the cliff? Right before Arthur says, I, Arthur Parker, like grouse. There's a weird position change in the way they're standing, and Arthur's comment makes more sense if it came right after they'd kissed. I'm curious to know if you saw that too, or am I just imagining things?
Okay, you've watched it several times. What do you think?
I think they maybe cut out some dialogue, but I would be surprised if they cut out a kiss. Would they be stupid enough to kiss in public? Maybe. We've seen Harry's...
Yeah. And,
not as good at hiding things as he thinks he is.
You never know who's hiding behind a sand dune.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just think it's too high stakes for them.
Yeah.
Then again, it's very high stakes for Colborne and Charlotte. And they still did it.
True enough. Oh, boy.
It's not the same thing. Yeah. Let's continue with the email. I know they did the trope at the end where Harry was trying to urgently tell Arthur something and got interrupted, but it was done well and did not feel too cliché. The dramatic reaction from both gentlemen, as well as from Lydia, made it good. When Arthur was so giddy talking about their trip and Harry looked sick, I had a stomachache. Arthur's face. Then when he said to Georgiana, why did it have to be him? Total gut punch.
Yeah.
Mama Montrose. She's been a typical Austen society matron up to now, one that has not been annoying, so I've enjoyed her. But in this episode, I became a fan. Her rescue of Georgiana in the tea room and their subsequent conversation was real, not just about matchmaking for Harry this time, although of course she had that in mind too. I think she actually cared about Georgiana and was trying to give her real advice on how to survive society. But it was her scene with Harry that sold me on her. When she saw Harry and Arthur, I thought, oh dear, Mama knows, and thought it would be awful. But then her conversation after with Harry was such a powerful moment between mother and son. She didn't nag him or bully or belittle him like I expected her to. I think she genuinely feels for him and is terrified for her boy more than she's worried about anything else. The emotion she conveys when she talks about his leanings and her fear he'll end up on the gallows, I think it actually hurts her to see him so sad, and her desperation to get him married takes on a whole new meaning after this. Plus, good for her for knowing his sexuality all this time and still loving him.
Yes.
Many parents wouldn't. If she were a modern-day mother, I think she'd be the kind that would accept him and just adopt Arthur into their clan. She's not a terrible mother after all. I never thought she was. She was making sensible points.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway.
She was just being way too nosy and meddly.
Pushy.
Yeah.
She's actually kind of a terrible mother to Lydia now that I think about it. She's not that bad with Harry though.
Yeah.
Constantly putting her daughter down.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back to the email. You know who's the terrible mother though? Charlotte. I don't think she should ever be given the care of children. Alexander says she's the only one Augusta will listen to. Yes. But are you sure you want her to listen to Charlotte? Even Colborne was more observant than Charlotte was this week, and that's saying something. She had no idea it was Edward that Augusta was mooning over. Yeah, good point. Didn't Edward openly ask last week?
Yep.
I know she wasn't in the room, but gossip. Anyway. Oh wait, the email continues. I know she left the party before this public declaration, but you're telling me in a gossipy hotbed like Sanditon, not one person said to her afterwards, "Holy crap, Charlotte, you missed some drama. That skank Edward Denham tried to pick up Augusta in front of everyone and her uncle told her to piss off." Why would you tell a teenage girl who's in the grip of a hormonal, melodramatic, angsty love crisis to go after a man that her uncle, whom you actually respect, has massive concerns about, before finding out who he is? Augusta wouldn't even tell her his name when she asked. That didn't make her spidey senses tingle at all. So many red flags here, Charlotte. This is a very good point.
If
Xander had reservations, it's obviously for good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte.
Come on,
where's
girl.
Your head?
Come on, girl. That kiss didn't ring your bells that hard. So that
have all of her brain cells just evaporated.
They're on the beach. They fell out of her head and they're on the beach.
They continued. Plus, Colborne's actually trying to find Augusta a match, so if this unknown love interest was actually eligible, why would he be keeping her under lock and key to avoid him? Woman, you're supposed to be the adult here. As for her own love life, before I rant about that, I would like to qualify this with the fact that I actually thought Rose Williams was great this week, and I loved her since Georgiana. That said, she really needs to poop or get off the pot. The excuse, "I made a promise to my family," is kind of bullshit. Yes, you did make a promise, but there's also zero chance that she told them the whole story, as if her parents wouldn't be thrilled over her marrying a wealthy landowner if they knew that was an option. Especially since she's in love with him and not in love with Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Ralph is the only choice they think she has, and they need to get their adult children settled, so of course they'll promote it. Then there's the "I made a promise to Ralph" excuse. Yeah, sure she did, and that's valid, but only if she actually commits to the promise. Right now, her words say she's committed, but all her actions prove she's not. If you say you're choosing Ralph, then actually choose Ralph and get out of Sanditon. Or cut the poor bastard loose so he can move on too. Mm-hmm. He's going to be hurt no matter what she does at this point, but it's much crueler, and he's going to hurt for much longer if she actually carries on like she has been. That's what we've been saying.
Preach!
Ralph and Alexander. I swear to God, I thought they were going to pee on each other's legs or chest bump each other while they were sizing each other up at Hayrick Park. Georgiana. The actress conveyed beautifully that she is in crisis. I cringed, of course, at some of her words and actions, as I was supposed to. This girl is desperately trying to cope, and she's spiraling. When she went all mean girls on Arthur at the beginning, betting he could eat the most macaroons in under a minute. Oof, that was harsh, and not like where Arthur is concerned. I think Arthur could have done it, though.
Oh, yeah.
If you saw him in season 1, he was an eating machine. Anyway, the look on his face, she might as well have just spit in his drink. I don't think that's why he was upset. Here's my great hope for Georgiana at this point. No more men. Piss off, Otis. Or romance for her. Just let her mum show up and actually get to mother her. It would soothe her tortured soul more than anything else would at this point, and allow her to finally grieve and then just be calm. There are only 2 episodes left. Episode 5 would be the perfect point in the series to make this reveal and bring Georgiana's crisis to a head in order for the final episode to be able to deal with the emotional fallout and wrap it up so we can have closure. I still have faint hope as well that there is more to the story of her father selling her mother to give Georgiana some comfort. Oh, honey. I hate to break it to you about slave owners, but they're not good people.
Yeah.
I also need a scene next week with Georgiana and Arthur where they have an actual heart-to-heart. They're always best when they're together, and we haven't got much of them in the last couple of episodes. Loved seeing Arthur and Charlotte united in their concern for her, and also both a little lost in processing their emotions and experiences from the shooting party. Edward. Ugh. I said I respect his storyline more if they let him be rotten, and I actually do. I mean, he's a rat bastard that deserves a flogging, and I've seen more than I ever wanted to of his storyline, but it was nice to know that underneath all that fake reform, he's still the master manipulator and pure sociopath that we always knew he'd be. You have to admit, he played Augusta like a fiddle. He knew exactly when to blow hot and cold, and then what to say to isolate her. Build her uncle up as a villain, make her think she's a victim in need of rescue, and then get her to panic, thinking he was going to leave and she'd lose him. He knew if he just told her to run away with him at the start, she'd have balked. Because there's a big difference between meeting up for innocent walks and writing silly letters and doing something she knows is really wrong, like eloping. He had to prime her for running away first, make her think everything was hopeless. It was like watching Wickham seduce Lydia Bennet or Willoughby seduce Brandon's niece, but instead of just hearing about it off screen, we watched it play out.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, what a dick he is for getting Leo involved in this. But I do love Leo and Augusta's relationship. Kudos to the actress playing Augusta, though. She really showed Augusta's turmoil over this decision. She can say all she wants that nobody cares about her. I mean, all teenagers say this, but she knows deep down that's not really true. She was clearly struggling with the reality of running away from her family until Charlotte told her to go for it. Frickin' Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome, though, that Reverend Hankins was the one that saw him running away after all this boasting to Dr. Fuchs over how well Edward was doing under his tutelage. The only thing that would have made that fuck you better would have been if Edward turned and flipped in the bird as he and Augusta dashed away.
Oh, God.
The other couples, Lady Susan and Samuel. That race on the beach was very reminiscent of the scene with Esther and Lord Bamberton racing on the scene in season 1. I love that he didn't just let her win. Me too. Plus, it's nice to know that Samuel can go into denial as hard as his brother over his feelings for a woman. They're fun to spend time with, but why exactly does he need to keep her in Sanditon? He lives in London. He's not staying here either. I know. Lady D and Rowley. Meh, they don't really turn my crank, but I did laugh at the proposal at the bouquet of thistles and even her reaction to all of it. That may be the best proposal and response ever. I just wish she'd stuck to her guns. They're fun when they aren't trying to destroy the poor in Sanditon. Tom and Mary, you go Mary. I loved it when she said she liked who she was becoming. Screw you, Tom, and the horse you rode in on. Phew, that was a rollercoaster, ladies. I can't wait to see the fallout next week. I'm already mentally preparing myself for the shit show. That's from Tara.
Thank you,
Tara. Oh, amazing.
Hello, Michelle and Rita. I am enjoying your recaps of Anne Boleyn and wish I could find it so I can watch it. Also, I'm going to watch Mr. Malcolm's List before I listen to your recap as well. I love listening to your podcast. They are so insightful and fun. On to Sanditon. This episode was okay. I enjoyed Ms. Hankins and Dr. Fuchs. They are so sweet together. I felt the pain Arthur felt when Harry announced his engagement to Georgiana. It was sad seeing Arthur cry when he was watching the fireworks. Lady Denham needs to send Rowley Price packing. She can do a lot better. Loving Mary, but wish she had more of a voice in season 2. Edward is hot, but the age difference between him and Augusta just creeps me out. I guess 30-something men dated teenagers in the Regency era. Yep, they sure did.
Yep.
Loved the coats Lady Susan wore in this episode. Charlotte and Colborne are just frustrating me. I wish they would talk about that kiss that happened. I know she made a promise, but she wants to be with Colborne, but she doesn't know how to tell Ralph, who she truly loves. The way they stare at each other, everyone knows they love each other, but they don't want to act on it. I am like, just end my misery and want Charlotte to say, I love you to Colborne. Looking forward to your recap of episode 4. Have a good week. Delia from Austin. Thank you.
Thanks, Delia. I feel your frustration.
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies, it seems to me that Samuel drinks quite a bit. Haven't heard that mentioned yet, unless I've missed it. Perhaps like his dad. Kept waiting for Alexander to bring it up, but he kept pouring him another. KSB.
Thank you.
Thank you. I did not notice this, but then I think Poldark has made me immune to excessive drinking. Ross would come home and immediately pour himself 4 drinks.
Yes. Here, have a bucket of brandy.
I wonder if actors are just desperate to have a prop or for something to do, so they're like, I'll pour some brandy.
There we go. Hello, wonderful podcastinistas. Just watched episode 4, then listened to your postcards episode for 3.3. So many thoughts. Love hearing you read all the postcards. They are so funny and they all give more perspective. One in particular ranted a bit about why they are dragging out the Hayborn plot, like the obstacles they have are entirely of their own making, and all they have to do is talk about it and be together. The writer has a point, and that got me off on a tangent, thinking about what if they did get together at the end of season 2. I have a hard time remembering why they didn't at this point. And season 3 could just be them engaged or married, and they could get a lot more screen time together. They could still have hand sex, and we could concentrate on Georgiana, Harry, Arthur, Susan, Samuel, and the tear down the poor people's houses plot. But before you go too far down that rabbit hole, episode 4 was my favorite so far. They did an excellent job of building tension. Everyone started out in sad places. Georgiana says we just need to forget our problems and maybe alcohol will help. Charlotte is in extreme denial. Nobody will listen to Mary. Augusta and Voldemort boo-hooing all over. Blech. Then there were a few ups. Harry and Arthur have a brief moment of happiness, such a sweet scene. Rita, you need to give us the backstory on this Wales place they talk about. Homework assignment. Georgiana has a nice talk with Harry's mom. Carriage racing with Samuel and Susan. Isn't it convenient they have that nice flat beach to race on? Love these two. Then there's lots of action. Raleigh proposes to Lady D. This does not sit well with me. Lady D, trust your first instinct. This guy left you at the altar once. Fool me twice. Shame on me. I think Raleigh's after her money. The scene with Harry and his mother brought tears to my eyes. So well acted. Say what you will about the Duchess, but she is a mama bear protecting her young. The reality of the times sucked for this situation. She's a realist. Georgiana and the Duke engaged. I think we saw that coming. Poor Arthur. Can we somehow make this 3-way arrangement work? I haven't a clue how they will resolve this. Again, to Rita's satisfaction.
Again, I am the most important person here. Not the millions of viewers. I decide.
Next up, you guys are always wanting to put Lydia and Ralph together, but from the comment Lydia made to Harry at the fireworks, that she sneaks around her mother, she's got something going on the side. Plus, I think Ralph is too dumb for her. Oh, damn. Then I think we saw...
Ralph developed some brain cells. It's like he
did.
got the ones that left Charlotte's body.
Yeah.
Transferred.
Yeah. I think we saw an ickier side of Ralph this episode. He comes to Sanditon to get Charlotte and says they don't belong at these fancy parties. Then he tells Charlotte that Sanditon is not good for her. He's getting a bit controlling. Not feeling sorry for him, Charlotte is not going to make him happy. And that's true. So maybe we had to suffer through the Ugg ward nonsense so we can get Charlotte and Colborne in a carriage together, rushing off to save Augusta. I'm sure Charlotte will be beating herself up about the stuff she said to Augusta. Don't give up your chance to be with him. Forward slap. Well, ladies, I'm going out of town for a few weeks, so I'm going to get out of sync with you guys and won't be able to write in, but I'll be listening. Your loyal fan, Carol from Connecticut. Thanks, Carol. Enjoy your trip.
Thanks, Carol. I know. Have fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so the River Wye. Just Wikipedia'd it. So
Okay.
that's how, I do my research.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth largest river in the UK, stretching 250 kilometres. That's 150 miles for you Yanks.
Thank you.
And it's basically in the mid-Wales region.
Mm-hmm.
We know where Wales is, right? This is why,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know if people know where Wales is.
Yeah.
It's always a bit of a confusion.
I know where it is.
There's not really much to say about this river. It exists. There's a house there. I did find out that the book he referenced, Observations on the River Wye,
Mm-hmm.
real book, published 1770, and I think we can all give a sigh of relief that it wasn't from 1822 or something, because I would have another breakdown.
Exactly. Thank heavens.
Okay. Next message said, "Hi, Rita and Michelle. To paraphrase Charlotte this episode, you will find a way to be together and to get through this episode." Charlotte and Augusta. Who is persuading who here? Oh, Charlotte, what have you done? I feel completely ill at ease all episode. So many things, feelings welling around in the air. It felt like just before a cyclone, a quite low rumbling where the atmospheric pressure is just building, just waiting to explode. But the question is, which ill-fated relationship will implode first? Charlotte and Georgiana. Hey, Georgie, remember the sugar boycott? Georgiana and Arthur? Why did it have to be him? Arthur and Harry? Cry face emoji. Harry and himself. The realization of his duties and the law loom large. Charlotte and Alexander. One big hot mess. Awkward looks everywhere. Alexander and Augusta. He's trying hard, but she's still a teenager at heart. Damn exhausting. Augusta and Edward. Edward, what are you doing? Baiting Augusta like that? Charlotte and Ralph. Ralph is not blind or stupid. Mary and Tom. Mary, finally. I'm actually starting to like the woman. You are becoming. Okay. The only people who are balancing out this thermodynamic craziness with happiness is Leo, Lady Susan, and Samuel. Please don't leave Uncle Samuel. How gorgeous is he playing with Leo?
Yeah.
No wonder Lady Susan's smile gets wider every time she sees him. I must say, I think Georgiana's plan to sort out all her problems with champagne is the way to go at the moment. Until next week, ladies. Ciao, Maria from Perth.
Oh,
Thank you,
thank
Maria,
you.
and I agree.
Yeah.
You can't, feeling your emotions is not always what you want to be doing, okay? Sometimes you need champagne.
Yes.
It's a good choice.
Yep.
And some macaroons. Yeah.
Mascaroons? Okay. It's been, we've been at this for a while.
Macaroons?
Yes.
I just pronounce it weird. Okay.
What's happening next episode?
Okay, description. Charlotte and Colborne rush to Augusta's aid. Georgiana's reunited with a ghost from her past. Mother?
Maybe?
Okay. Charlotte must make a difficult decision about her future. Oh, God, thank God, Charlotte.
It's
thank
not
God.
that hard.
She made the decision ages ago.
Yeah, the
but she's
decision's
not
a done
fucking
deal. Come on now. Ugh.
What are you looking forward to? the most.
The Georgiana is reunited with the ghost from her past. That has totally given me a will to live, to carry on. Yeah, it's given me a will to carry on. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of how that is going to wind up resolving.
Yeah.
And please don't let it be Otis. We've already seen that ghost. No. That ghost needs to just go.
No, because he was described as an old friend. So he can't be a ghost.
Yeah.
Though I would love him to show up at her wedding to the Duke and be like, you can't marry him, just for the drama.
Oh, Lord.
But I don't think they're getting to they're not going to do a Bridgerton and have the old.
Oh, God.
I'm still traumatized by that.
How about you? What are you looking forward to?
Definitely Georgiana.
Mm-hmm.
Always the highlight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sort of dreading a lot of other things, to be quite honest with you. I think the whole Augusta situation is going to be horrific.
Yeah.
I don't like that they're sort of repeating storylines here with season 1. Like, this is very reminiscent of when Sydney and Charlotte were paired off to save Georgiana. Like, that was an iconic episode for the show, and I don't want them to try and rehash that sort of situation. Maybe it will be over quicker than I think, though. Like,
that's what I hope, because we don't have time for a huge long journey to try and catch up with these folks. There's too much stuff to do. So, yeah.
You know what I noticed in the trailer is that Colborne and Charlotte were standing outside the pub, and I was like, that was in Poldark. We're getting very Poldarky.
Oh, God.
Adjacent. The closer the show gets to Poldark, the more traumatized I become.
Oh, like, Lord. Oh.
There's no other places to film in England. Anyway, yeah, I just hope that feels very distinct from what we got in season 1. Because, like, again, the horse riding race reminded me of Esther and Babington, and I was kind of like, oh, I prefer that storyline. Like, don't make me think about things I used to like.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous path for you to tread, Sanditon. But I am looking forward to seeing Charlotte finally poop, as many of our listeners have put it. So many times people have said shit or get off the pot.
Yes.
Very crass people, by the way.
Is it toilet flushing time? Please. Oh, God, yeah.
I'm not going to enjoy watching Ralph, like, openly weep in public, because he will. But, you know, I just... At this point, I'm just like, please, just put him out of his misery.
Yeah. Yeah. Do that. Just do that.
Do the thing.
Yeah.
Do the thing.
Just do the thing. Well, guys, that's all from us this week. We'll be back discussing episode 5 next week. But in the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram for updates. We are In the Books Network. You can also email us if you want to be read out in our podcast feature.
It's a postcard feature.
Did I say podcast?
Yes.
I meant postcard feature. Sorry about that. The email address is inthebooksnetwork@gmail.com. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with your friends and give us a rate and review. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week. Bye!
Bye!